What's up? Happy Monday.
It's Monday. Good News York. Mike Brindisi.
I didn't know we were going to get a singing intro.
It's just a thing I do.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Do you ever eat something and it's so good you go...
That video, you saw that video, that chick, right? That she's sitting there, people get mad at her because she's so excited because she's doing like a happy dance. You know what I'm talking about?
I actually did see that. I don't remember it to the T, but yeah, I remember. And I remember thinking like, dude, leave her alone. She's loving what she's eating.
Right?
Let the girl live.
People are weird.
Anyway.
Speaking of weird people, what'd you do this weekend, buddy?
Dude, listen, it's Good News York, so I'm going to try to be positive. I didn't really have a weekend because I have 2 children.
Yeah.
And let's see, Friday, I DJ'd an elementary school dance.
Nice.
I used to work at this elementary school, and I love those kids so much, and they needed a DJ, so gave me an excuse to see them.
Say a lot of like Nicki Minaj and stuff.
I played a ton of Eminem, and honestly, what went over was Wet Ass Pussy.
Oh.
Yeah, kids loved it. And then Saturday... my wife had that's a song. My wife had a cheerleading competition. She's a cheerleading coach. She's badass. And that was an all-day event.
Your wife's
Sunday,
a cheerleader?
A volleyball competition or a volleyball tournament my daughter was in. That was all day. So it was a lot of waiting around with 0 cell service.
Did you watch the Oscars?
Here's the thing. I got to get into the swing of things being on a daily show. I should be watching it so that we can stay up. I have it set to watch tonight because I had too much going on, as I just explained. That's a long way of saying
You're going to watch it after. It's like watching the Super Bowl the next day. You already know who wins.
You're right. I've purposely stayed away from seeing as much as I could. What about you?
No, I don't. Does anybody care?
There are people that care. There are people that care. Mostly industry folk. But
there used to be all of these award shows, and they were cool when we only had 2 channels on the TV. It's like we need awards season because we need to fill 5 hours of something when Friends isn't on. Yeah. But I don't know, man. It just always seems... And then they added... I feel like there was like a heyday where they added everybody and their brother had some kind of award show for every thing, and I still miss the Nickelodeon. Remember when we were kids, the Nickelodeon...
The Slime Award or the
they got got the Orange Zeppelin thing. Yeah. What was that thing?
That was I don't know.
It's like the Nickelodeon.
It's like a Nickelodeon Zeppelin with slime on it. Remember the MTV Movie Awards with the astronaut?
Yeah, see, those were entertaining. But these other ones, they're just like, I don't know. It's like a fashion thing. Especially, I guess if you're into fashion, that's really where it's at. You get that red carpet.
The red carpet is a big
experience.
Yeah, I have family members that they love the pre-show even more than the actual Oscars.
See, I could see that then. That almost makes sense.
One thing I did hear is that you know how they do the in memoriam and they always leave
for dead people?
And they had the in memoriam for their A-listers. And then the people that are still just as important, but of course, Hollywood doesn't care that much about.
Ran out of time.
Scan a QR code and see a separate in memoriam.
Wow.
Yeah. Which I haven't fully processed yet.
Wow.
I don't know if that's tasteless, genius.
On the one hand, they took the time to make another video for those people.
That's what I mean. It's like, is it a nice gesture or is it like, really?
Probably better than the millions of people who passed away and don't get any recognition. Maybe? I don't know.
It's Good News York. It's a positive spin. I like it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Wow. Oscars. Yeah. I don't know. Did you hear anything about if it got real speechy, like protesty?
I didn't hear anything.
Or if they just stuck, I don't know.
I feel like
it's to us for the Oscar review.
Yeah, no, this is not.
We have no idea.
You know, we don't give a shit. This isn't, the Oscars.
This is not the Oscars.
No.
By any means. What'd you do this weekend?
I did a lot of work.
Yeah.
We got a number of new clients that I've been trying to onboard and get taken care of. So.
Yes. Here at Growth Mode Content, that is the other part of this gig.
Not even that. Growth Mode Technologies, our tech company.
Yeah.
So it's been a busy weekend on top of all the family stuff.
I feel that. Let's talk about Growth Mode Content and Growth Mode Technologies a little bit. I mean, clearly everybody knows what this is. It's Good News York. This is our show. But the rest of our days are filled with you dealing mostly with the IT company and all of us collectively dealing with our channel partners or clients, as we call them, to record their podcasts, which has been going phenomenal, by the way. We got some rock stars.
We really do.
And I'm not just saying that. Man.
The fun part of this is we meet these people and we learn the most interesting things about them.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point of organic content,
Sure.
right? It's and for a lot of folks that don't understand the strategy behind growth mode content, the thing that literally no one else in the market is doing in a focused manner like this is to deliver that human experience, that organic. Everybody's like, what the hell's what's organic? Just more expensive at the grocery store? No.
Free range podcast.
It means it's not scripted. I don't have a script in front of us right now. We're just a couple of dudes talking.
We do not.
And that is the strategy for our content creators, our clients.
Yeah.
To build their brand, we're not making commercials, right?
No.
Lots of people that do that, and that's great. There's a place for that, and incredibly talented people all over town that we will send you to who could do that for you. That's not us.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is that real human interaction, the same type of interaction that you would get that, say, you walked into somebody's store and said, hey, I want to do business with you, and you have a conversation with the person that works there. We don't do that anymore, right? And in a lot of businesses, there isn't a store, right? It was never that sort of thing. But people do business with people. And what we've figured out is if we can present folks in a way where you learn about them, and back to where we started was how many interesting things there are, the things you learn about your fellow humans.
It's unbelievable.
Make you just admire them, right?
Right.
And be impressed by them. But also you get to learn about their actual credibility in their business.
Yeah,
and you realize that they're not just somebody who signed up and put a sticker on their car, but they actually know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, it's almost like a reversal, right? In traditional advertising, you watch or listen to something and you learn about the business. And maybe they'll sprinkle in a little bit about the owners or the ownership. What's great about what we do is it's almost as if their service or their business is secondary. You're getting to know them first. And the reason why I think that's important is how many times have you thought about using a service or a business, maybe the way they do business or who they are rubs you the wrong way and you don't feel comfortable moving forward? Here it's like you get to meet them first and then you're like, I love this person. And what do they do? Yeah, I want that, you know?
And the value of that really comes into play when you have things where there is a ton of competition, right? So coffee cup, maybe 20 companies in town make a coffee cup that looks just like this. It has the same function. The pricing might even be about the same price. So why would I buy from one company versus another? Then you go to find out that this particular company actually gives a percentage of all their sales to the local community, and they also pay their employees more. And they're also somebody who makes it super easy for you to place your order for that cup, where everybody else in town makes you jump through the hoops.
That's a perfect example. Or let's say like we had our buddy Abel on, right?
Sure.
You meet a guy whose story like his, maybe the owner of the coffee cup company migrated here and built his business from the ground up, faced adversity. And just that story alone, you're like, how can I not support that?
You learn that these are people first and foremost in organizations that you want to support.
Yeah.
And that's what is so powerful in this organic content game. And our strategy for delivering that is pretty unique as well. We have folks come in once a month. They record these podcasts. We invite them in guests as on Good News York as well. But the idea is you come in and you record that once a month, and then we take that and slice that up into a month's worth of social media posts across all the platforms.
Yeah, we run the show for you on that.
So, yeah, and I think we've made it
Super easy.
And the biggest challenge in this, because we've done this before we had this whole team, to do it consistently is incredibly difficult. And we've made it super easy for folks so they can get that consistent branding effort out into the community and
Consistency.
get take on a second job.
Right. And consistency is everything with organic content.
100%.
Content in general. And the biggest barrier for people being consistent is time.
Right.
And I think that's our, I don't even want to say selling point because we're not really trying to sell you anything.
Yeah.
This is what it is. And the bread and butter isn't, the podcast is great. You get a podcast once a month. People can go to it. It's in its own spot out there in the interweb. But I think the real benefit you're seeing is what you talked about, how we have a team that chops up these clips and these videos and puts them across all the platforms. We gain access to those platforms Obviously, you're welcome to do it as well. It's yours, but we will run that show for you.
I think that's something that we haven't talked about a little bit, actually, and we should mention more and highlight more as we build out our marketing materials for growth mode content. One of the tools that we use is a social media management platform that all of our creators have access to.
Right.
So it's the tool that we use to schedule your posts and blast them out. But you as a creator have access to it. So you can go in and see what's going on.
We got a beautiful email from Christine O'Connell last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You got to check it out. If you haven't checked your email yet, I replied. She's blown away. I can't believe it, the results I'm seeing already. She's getting people emailing and calling her that saw the clips and they want to do business. And that's all we could ask for. And
that makes me smile.
It does. It made me smile. And you'll see my reply. I said, we are genuinely so happy for you, because the thing is, this isn't like where it ends when we say cut and it's, hey, good luck.
Yeah.
We're on this journey with our channel partners, our clients, and we're there 24/7. This isn't like we shoot it, it's done, here you go. We're monitoring the analytics and we're posting throughout the month. We're staying in contact with you. So we want to see that success.
As we're doing more and more of this, I'm seeing other similar services that have been around for a long time, right? Folks that in general, they make social media videos. And I've seen a couple different scenarios. The most common one is you work with a professional videographer and you pay them often more than folks are paying for our service. And they put together 2 or 3, maybe 4, maybe 1 a week, really nice, high-end, scripted, produced videos. And they look great.
Sure.
But that's one post, and I'm being generous going one. Most of them are a couple a month.
Yeah.
There's other services that we've seen, that one that I sent you over the weekend that we just organically showed up in my feed, $3,500 a month, and they help you do this, but you shoot your own content, which is wild to me. They help you develop the plan and everything, but they leave it to you to shoot it all.
It's like, what are you paying for?
And then you send it to them to edit and post and whatever.
Which there's definitely value in that, sure.
And I'm not saying there's not value in it, but it's just very interesting. And as we look at what we're offering as such a complete turnkey solution to do this organic thing specifically, not make that commercial where you're awkward and you're trying to read a script and you're not an actor. And as much as we love the funny local commercials, there's a lot of brilliant business people that are not great just reading that script, doing that sort of thing. And it's unnatural. And you're not getting the personality of that person in those, which is the key.
One of the main questions I had when we started talking about this, and a lot of the questions that people who are thinking about signing on get is, I own a plumbing company. How can I make a podcast out of plumbing? People are realizing that you can make a podcast out of anything.
Yeah.
And you can make it interesting. And the way that we have it set up here is you're set up for success. We're gonna help you with that. But I want to talk about that because I think that's important. So let's say Joe the plumber comes to you and says, yeah, I'm thinking about this podcast deal. So how does it work? What are we going to talk about? What are the things we're going to do?
Yeah, that's the thing that's very interesting is, as you mentioned before, as we've been talking about here for the last couple of minutes, it's about the people, right? So you say, I'm going to have a plumbing podcast. No, you're not actually going to have a plumbing podcast. You're going to have a podcast about a guy who owns a plumbing company.
That's it.
Or the people that work at a plumbing company. But it really is more about them. And sometimes we aren't even talking about plumbing. We're talking about what you did with the family or how great the fishing was at the lake this weekend and things of that nature, especially in a business like a plumber or a tradesperson. That is, keep in mind what they do is these are folks that come in your home.
That's right.
And again, just like the coffee cup, there's 20 companies in town that are competent plumbers and they can unclog a drain and fix a toilet with the best of them, right? But are they all people that you want in your home? Are they all people you want around your children? You don't know.
No.
And they're probably all great and they're all professionals and they've been doing this for years, but you don't know. And so having the opportunity for folks to connect with the people is just, it's the next level.
And that's an important part too, is when you talk about search engine optimization, our channel partners, our clients, they come on, they do this podcast. We have it set up where it's coming from an organic actual site. So what this gives our channel partners is, let's say someone's looking for a plumber, okay? And they see a list of great plumbers, but wow, look at Joe the plumber. He's got his own podcast and look at all these video clips on Instagram and TikTok where he's talking about, I love this guy.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that's where you see the results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the funny part about this whole thing is this was started as a internal marketing effort.
I know. I love that.
And it's bloomed into this whole massive business. But the wild part is I started this because when I started Growth Mode Technologies and focused on IT services, I grew that business by making organic podcasts. Didn't have time to do it by myself and run the business. So we added this team, but it's worked for us immensely. It's continued to add business, and we've been adding more and more IT clients lately, like it's going out of style. And that's been a wonderful thing. It's very exciting to see people realize the value that we bring. There's so many different options, different ways to go about managing your IT and your cybersecurity for your companies, that when folks take the time to hear why our solution is the best on the market, and I truly believe that we offer more value than anybody in town, they jump on board. And it's great to see. It's very exciting to be able to help those people. And that kind of goes to a lot of the things that we believe in, is to make things better. And that's always been my motto in the IT business, is it's not just tech support. And of course we do that. We got great people. We have in-person techs who show up and work with you one-on-one, which is something that you don't find too much anymore. But our goal is not to just keep that old thing working. It's to move your business forward. Mm-hmm. And we're making partnerships with AI. I learned a lot about that. And we're going to be talking more and more about folks that are specifically using AI to automate your business and automate your marketing processes, but just be more efficient and know how to use the technology, the tools that you have. For instance, Microsoft Office training is something that we offer all of our clients for no extra cost.
Something overlooked.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, why do you do that? Well, a couple of reasons. One, the more somebody knows about the tools they're using, the less they have problems, the less they call the IT department, right? But also for them, the more they can do themselves and the more comfortable they feel, the more they can do a better job at their job, uninterrupted, with greater efficiency. And with Microsoft specifically, what we found is everybody's got this Microsoft 365 subscription, and it's got this wide variety of products. Most people think it's like Excel and Word and Outlook.
Yes.
And just exposing people to the tools that are in that suite that they're already paying for is huge. And we spend a lot of our time doing that. And like I said, really demonstrating the value, getting the most out of what we can. And then we've got our work phone, which is our business phone solution. And that is just so much fun to me because it is the most powerful phone system solution. I've supported and built, I don't know how many different models and manufacturers in the last 20 years, but this one has every feature and capability you could ever imagine, and many that you haven't. And we're able to offer it to folks for less than the cost of any other solution that they have right now.
That's amazing.
And the bigger the company and the older the phone service they have. So if they've been with one of the traditional phone companies for many years, as a lot of these longstanding companies have, they don't think about it. You just pay your phone bill every year. Chances are you're using older technology that is drastically more expensive. But even if you're using some of the more modern IP phone systems, ours is drastically more cost effective.
You know,
and it's an awesome tool for business to save money and get more done.
It is. And that's one of those things too, where it's, you get set up with your phone software. Great. It's working. I don't ever think about it again. You never think about, hey, I should check if there's a cheaper, updated, better version. And I think that's where Growth Mode Technologies plays a big role too, is in not only the installation and the IT and the cybersecurity, but you're also providing the most modern version of what you're using, the most efficient and probably more affordable.
We try to give people the absolute most value, because at the end of the day, these services aren't cheap from anybody, right? It's a significant, important investment in any business, but I don't want it to just be a bill. I don't want it to just be an expense. I want to do everything I can to use technology to move your business forward. That's why I've been in this business for since I was a teenager. That's what gets me excited, is moving a company forward. It's great that I fix your printer jam for the third time.
Sure.
But that's not why I get excited about this business. You know what I mean? When we take companies and we make people's jobs easier, and we see that companies reach their goals quicker and surpass and do it by saving money in the process, like how awesome is that?
In summation of that conversation, you have growth mode technologies. That's what we've been talking about, the IT side of this business. And then we were dabbling about growth mode content, which is our side of this, creating content, organic content for people and businesses. I just want to quickly peel the curtain back.
Yeah.
Our channel partner client, I'm not sure what we're calling them.
Creators.
Our creators come to us, they sign on. I want to just talk about what they can expect when they're coming in for their first podcast shoot, how the process works a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. We've put together, I think, a pretty decent process. Yeah. And I don't want to pat us on the back because it is brand new, and there will be lots of room for improvement. But we've tried to sketch this out in such a way that we're really being methodical about it. So when folks first sign up, the first thing they do is there's this detailed questionnaire that asks about your business, but then also about your goals and the type of things that you've seen out in the world that you'd like to mimic, you think that might work for you. We really like to know where you're coming from to set your expectations the best. And then we take that form, and then we get together and have an in-person meeting and kind of I think we're calling it content consultation. And that's something that we do initially, but also on a regular ongoing basis. Initially, we'll come in and we'll go over that form, and we do a lot of brainstorming. There is nothing that is templated.
What are you picturing for your podcast? Who are some of your influences? Those kinds of things.
Correct? Yeah. And then we get down into the real specific details of what do you want it to look like? What do you want a background? Do you want logos?
You're going to have guests.
Intros.
Do you want to just be interviewed for each podcast? Do you want to take the reins? And then we carry that over too. So now we're into our second month of production, and so we're starting to schedule clients for their second episode. And we've fallen into this process where Danny and I, sometimes Matt, will sit in. So if they're going to shoot on a Wednesday, usually Monday, we get together with them on a quick 15-minute Teams meeting or in person and just say, all right, this episode, anything different from the last as far as the set goes? Do you have a guest? And it doesn't stop at the initial consultation. We are constantly making sure episode by episode you are getting what you want. And at the end of the day, they're the boss. We're working with them, we're not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're not taking the reins. This is what they want, and we're just going to make it better.
It is. And at the same time, though, it's mixed in with our expertise and a lot of data. There's a lot of data-driven things that happen when it comes to your content. And what we're trying to do then, again, is very organic conversations. We want it to be completely real. But we also want to look at the things we should focus on. If in your industry there's something that's a real hot topic, we want to make sure that you're talking about that. And then we're going to make specific clips that are going to actually get extra views because that's a hot topic. As much as we talk about how it's unscripted and off the cuff, we use a lot of tools to craft it in such a way that organic, natural conversation gets a ton of views.
It can still be organic while being organized.
Exactly.
And that's something we focused on.
It's a good word.
Yeah. And that's something that we do focus on. And part of that deal too is, and you may have seen, as soon as you sign on as a content creator with us, channel partner client, again, I don't know, you can come on Good News York anytime. And we've already been doing that with some of our channel partners. It's been great.
Yeah.
You can come on anytime you want. This is it's all part of it.
Awesome. Listen, man, we can go on and on about our own business all day long, but the point of Good News York is to spread the good news. And I see in the wings that we've got a couple of gentlemen waiting to join us on the show.
I'm excited.
Our buddy Sean Kelsey is here, and he's got a friend. I don't know who this fella is. I haven't met him yet.
I met him, looked up some of the things he's doing. He's doing some amazing things, heartwarming things, life-changing things, like real deal important shit, to be honest with you. It's real life stuff, and this guy's amazing. So I'm excited to talk to them.
I'm excited too. Let's get him on here without further ado.
Maniac in here, Sean.
Wow. Joining us today on Good News York, we've got a couple of incredible guests. Sean, you probably have seen everywhere. We know we've seen his billboards because he's one of the most creative marketers in Central New York. But go ahead and introduce yourself and then introduce your guest here, buddy.
Yeah. My name's Sean Kelsey. I'm the CEO of Nave Law Firm, and I brought with me a great friend of my twin, Rick Nuzzo of New Business. He does some marketing with us, and he's got a big deal to talk about.
Awesome.
Yeah, so this weekend coming up at the Eye Center is the Syracuse for St. Jude Gala. It's going to be 6 o'clock. And I don't know how much everyone knows about St. Jude other than the commercials on TV, but St. Jude is a research hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. And I stress the word research because although it's located in Tennessee, the work that they do is felt all over the world. Even in upstate New York, they share that research with Galisanos. Sometimes they get a patient through St. Jude, but even if there isn't a patient there, the work is still being felt here as they are talking to the doctors at Galisano and sharing all that research.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. How'd you get hooked up with this organization?
I was working with Cumulus Media. Cumulus Media is the radio group that owns 93Q and 95X.
Yeah, okay.
And they are the radio partner for St. Jude, where they do a radiothon once a year. Literally, it was like my first week as the sales manager over at Cumulus, and my boss said, hey, we're going to send you to Memphis, Tennessee to visit St. Jude. And I said, okay. She said, yep, we partner with them once a year, and I just want to show you the importance of why we do the radiothon and come back and let me know your feedback. I went to Memphis, and I will say that my expectation was like I was going to go visit St. Joseph's Hospital.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then
It's like any hospital, right?
Yeah, you pull up, and this is like a campus. They have housing for patients.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
They have schools. They have research centers after research centers. Hospital is just a small portion of what's there. And after I was done with that, I fell in love with everything there is to know about St. Jude. You can't go there to learn about St. Jude and not come back and want to just do anything in your power for St. Jude. And
awesome.
I was all in when I got back. I literally called up and I said, I want to do more. I just don't want to do the radiothon. What more can I do? And Elise, who is the regional contact for St. Jude here, said, we have a gala committee. We put on a gala once a year. We're looking for new members. Do you want to come join our committee? And I did, and that was 6 years ago.
Wow.
That's great.
So when you talk about a gala, that sounds like a fancy thing. You gotta put on your cleanest jeans and
It's cocktail attire. It's like anything else. It's like a wedding. You will have the people who are going to go full blown, all out suits, and then you have some other people who can tone it down. Yeah, I think 2 years ago Sean wore a tux. So
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll wear a tux this time too.
I don't believe it.
Do you own a tux, Sean, or do you rent them?
I own it.
Really?
I go.
I could see that.
Non-for-profit events that it's just better to own it.
Was
I
it?
even have orange shoes to go, orange tuck shoes, because I used to go to the Bayheim Ball a lot.
Okay.
And,
Nice.
they were a huge hit.
I could imagine.
You should have went all orange like the Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, that's a
That
great idea.
is a great
That
idea.
is a great idea.
The two
Rick,
of you.
Rick.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah, you got
Just
the
throwing
orange.
it out
I'll
there.
take that.
Just throwing it out there.
If we don't kill any owls, that will be okay.
No owls will be harmed at the gala. Absolutely not.
So Rick, you said you got involved. What is your role? So what exactly do you do with the gala?
Basically, from everything from trying to find sponsors such as Nave Law, who has been a generous supporter of St. Jude and the gala for many years. That's our biggest thing, is to raise money. Because of businesses like Nave Law and our sponsors, literally every family of a St. Jude patient does not receive one single bill.
Oh, that's okay.
That's awesome.
Housing, food, everything is included.
Yeah.
Literally, because they're big on, if your child is battling cancer, the last thing you want to think about is, how am I going to pay for this?
Yeah.
And that was P thing. I didn't really believe it until I got involved, and I'm like, they really don't see a bill for anything. It's amazing.
I have a question for you, Rick. Somebody, a little one gets, and I know you may not know the answer to this, a little one gets diagnosed with cancer. It's obviously devastating for the family. How do you have to qualify to go to St. Jude's? Like, how's that process work?
Yeah, it's definitely need to be qualified. You can't just show up to St. Jude and walk in the front door.
Okay.
I'm sure people have tried.
Cross that
Sure.
off my list.
I would assume that you'd have to go through proper protocols because they're a research hospital. They're literally the most dire of situations. St. Jude is the saint of
Got it.
lost causes. So
Got it.
you basically, it's your last resort is St. Jude. But I will say, before St. Jude, 60 years ago, if you were a child diagnosed with any type of cancer, your survival rate was 20%.
Wow.
Because of the research St. Jude has been doing, it's now 80%. and going.
That's pretty great. I mean, it's unfortunately great.
Yeah.
Just,
This hits home with me. I know it's good news, York, but it's very relevant. I actually have experienced this firsthand. I lost my brother to leukemia. He was 3 years old and I was 6, and I did the bone marrow transplant. And we actually went out to Minnesota and stayed at the Ronald McDonald House. And this was late 80s.
Sure.
It really hits home with me to hear how much has changed since then, because you could sit here and do the what ifs, right? But I'd like to believe that if that, God forbid, it happened nowadays, he would have had a better chance.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
It really means a lot what you're doing to me personally. So thank you.
Yeah, leukemia back in the early 70s and 80s was literally a death sentence, sadly.
Yeah.
But now I believe it's like survival rate is in the 90s for leukemia now.
Wow.
That's amazing. That is, I had no idea. That really makes me happy, man.
That's incredible. Sean, what was it that made you and your firm want to get involved in supporting something like this?
Yeah. One, it's easy, right? Two, my great relationship with Rick makes it even more easier. But we support a lot of non-for-profits, and I think that it's very important to do that. It's our role in the community to do that. But I also believe that everybody wants to give back. They just don't know what. My intention is support whatever I can. I can't support everything. I would love to be able to do that, but support whatever we can. And when we can, do things like this to introduce people to what it actually is.
Yeah.
So that they know it's St. Jude's. They know what they do. Whether it's cystic fibrosis, they know what cystic fibrosis is. Rick's also worked with me with cystic fibrosis. So there's a lot of different non-for-profits out there that really need exposure. Right? They need the money so that they can make things like leukemia go from a death sentence to 90% survival rate. So that's why the money is so important. There's so many non-for-profits out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of non-for-profits start for really great reasons.
Sure.
They really, truly do. But unfortunately, it becomes this competitiveness that I have seen in working with all of these non-for-profits. And I would really like to create a business that goes out of its way to support non-for-profits from a business standpoint, marketing standpoint, from a sales standpoint, from a fundraising standpoint, from a board development standpoint, and really provides all of these resources to these non-for-profits that many times are volunteer-led, right?
Yeah.
Volunteers that also are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And it takes a real toll on these people. That's where my longer game is to create a business that helps support all of these non-for-profits, similar to what the United Way does, but in a little bit different type of way.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know how you find time to do anything, but I think I'm busy, and then I hear all the things that you're involved in, Sean, and it blows my mind. But I'm glad because, like you said, it's so critical. And I think I completely agree with you. As just anybody who has a business in the community, I think it's our duty to support our community. And it's nice to see that you're out there doing that personally and as a firm. Rick, tell us again, I know you mentioned the events coming up this weekend, but specifically what time, where do folks find the information, that sort of thing?
If you go to stjude.org/Syracuse Gala, it'll have all the information you need.
Awesome.
Saturday, 6 p.m. on Center Ballroom. It's going to be a sold-out event with approximately 500 people.
Wow.
Awesome.
They're going to have a silent auction. They'll do a give to live. They have patient speakers, which are phenomenal. They'll give out the Officer Colin Hayward Tooling Award.
Which
I remember that story.
Let's hear.
Let's talk about that award.
Yeah, what is that?
Talk about the...
If you aren't familiar with Officer Colin, I encourage you to Google him. His stories are great. He was a 10-year-old boy. At the age of 2, he was diagnosed with a rare brain tumor. He started treatment at St. Jude, and he lasted another 8 years.
Wow.
His family had him for another 8 years. And over that time, his dream was to give back to the community, and he wanted to be a police officer. I believe it was 2016, he was sworn in with the Ithaca Police Department.
Wow.
And that's where I live.
Okay, so
and I know all the guys that were involved with him directly. They're a couple of them are friends of mine. It was absolutely amazing what they did for him. It wasn't just, here's a badge, buddy. You're a deputy chief. I mean, they rolled out the carpet. This was going on for, I don't know, was it years?
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a one-time deal. They welcomed him with open arms. It was absolutely
his funeral was amazing, too. He had the whole heroes send-off with all the police.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It was special.
Sadly, he died in 2017, but he was a great human, and the St. Jude named an award in his honor, and this year they decided to give it to me, which
Oh, wow.
it was not expected. And usually I like to be the one honoring somebody,
Yeah.
so this is a totally different feel for me.
And so what, obviously we know what we're honoring, but what is the award?
A 10-year-old boy.
So we were about the same size, me and Officer Colin.
It's all right, buddy. I'm the size of an eight-year-old, so you got me
Use
beat
that in
by
my
2
speech.
years.
Who are the types of folks that this award is given to? So what is it? What is it
Not
for
you.
at these days?
Not you.
Just individuals who just want to give back to the community.
Okay.
And it's tough for me to say. I don't want to be like, just great.
No,
great.
no, we're asking
I realize
you.
we're asking you.
Why are you great? No,
Yeah.
no, just go ahead.
Rick's a super humble guy. He always has been. So
I'm
why they give
honored
it to
to be
the,
honored.
why did they give it to the recipient last year?
There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
Nice.
So the recipient last year, she actually is, her name is Wendy. She does all the photos for St. Jude, and literally free of charge every year she shows up and she does every single photo in
Wow.
that place. And she's been doing it for a decade.
That's
Somebody that's a huge champion for the cause, because Rick is
Yeah.
definitely a huge champion for the cause. So.
in my hats off to the organization for taking the time to recognize folks, because you mentioned earlier, so much of this is volunteers and selfless folks that are there just to do good.
Yep.
To take a minute and thank them for their efforts is definitely, as we know, even in business, that's the best way to keep people engaged and and keep the organization going, and that's great.
I'm very appreciative.
And it allows people like Rick to really go out there in the community and more so talk about St. Jude's and all of that, because obviously part of honoring him is also getting friends, family, businesses involved in the St. Jude,
Sure.
right? So that's why it's super powerful for me. So
along those lines, Rick, of getting people involved, you mentioned in one region, obviously St. Jude's is a national thing. How big is the region? What is the area we're working in here?
It's huge. It's all over. It's not even in this country. It's in other countries too.
Oh, wow.
name them.
What's
Oh,
St.
oh.
Give me a minute.
Alphabetical.
Give me a
And
minute.
then we're going to throw their flags up there, and you have to be able to identify those flags.
Yes.
So it's crazy. One of the rooms at St. Jude, they have flags, all different countries. There's hundreds of flags, and it's what do these flags represent?
Yeah.
They're actually employees of St. Jude,
Oh, wow.
Oh,
which is very
that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah. So St. Jude does is really cool from two sides. From a committee side, once a year they will bring all the committees all over the country to Memphis, and they do workshops and they talk to patient speakers and just reassures why we're doing it.
Sure.
So when you go to that, thousands of people attend to that. From the radio partner side, and I've been lucky to do both. I've been to Memphis 3 times. One time as a radio partner for, they call it Country Cares, where they bring all the radio partners from all over the country down there. They put them up in the hotels, food, everything. You just got to get down there. Whether you want to drive or fly, if you get down there, they take care of everything else. So huge. I always say it's the best place in the world you never want to end up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in terms of your local team, as you're going out and getting sponsors, how far are you going here in Central New York?
So there's another committee in Albany.
Okay.
They do their gala in, I think, May.
Okay.
So a little warmer weather. So we stay right in the Central New York area.
Gotcha.
Basically just the heart of Syracuse. They used to have one in Utica and Buffalo, but I think right now and then there's just Syracuse and Albany, and they're separate committees.
I see. That's incredible. That's incredible. If folks want to get involved, they want to be like Sean, they want to be a sponsor.
Don't be like Sean.
Not, and not even necessarily just for this particular event, but they just want to contribute. What's the best way to?
It's literally www.stjude/Syracuse Gala. Everything's on there. Even if you can't go to the gala and you want to donate, there's options just to donate on there.
Great.
We're going to have a sound auction. You don't have to be present at the gala to participate in the sound auction. So you can sign up for the sound auction and bid on some prizes, and all that money goes directly to St. Jude as well.
You got food at the gala?
Delicious food.
So here's the
got to taste
thing. Here's the challenge with that, because I love these things. You get dressed up and it's awesome, and then they have the best food in the world, and I just know the first bite, and I'm just
it's all over.
I'm that slob again. Doesn't matter how nice the suit is. It's just I miss my mouth every time with the messiest thing in the building.
I might not eat till after my speech.
See, that's-
because I'll spill something on it, and I know one person who would point it out.
Yeah. Back of the crowd. Hey, what's on your shirt?
Exactly.
You need a Tide stick?
This just in, they found out Sean's going to be there. It's not a silent auction anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very loud auction.
Oh man.
Well, Rick, I have a question. Does St. Jude's do events beyond the gala here in Central New York?
No.
Okay.
We could.
We should.
Yeah.
It just, we need more help.
Yeah, it's even more important, man, I guess, that the gala being the one-time event that they have there is so well attended. Every time I've gone, it's well attended. It's a ton of fun. But yeah, to that point, you guys can use more volunteers.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
For that. So,
and just to put it in perspective, for just this year, just in sponsorship money alone, our goal was $112,000, and we raised over $115,000.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Nice.
just sponsorship. So since the Syracuse for St. Jude Gala has been on, we hit the $1 million mark 2 years ago. So
Wow.
we're well over $1 million.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And other places they do golf events, some do galas and golf, but it's just it'd be just more work for me. You know, I'm going to recruit you to do the golf.
There you go.
You already do one. What's one more?
I do multiple golf.
Yeah. So what's one more?
And maybe I should know this, and if I should, we'll edit it out. But can you just talk about what's the main mission of St. Jude's? Is it more about comfort care, or is it more about really trying to...
Oh, it's 100% more about finding a cure and keeping them alive. Yeah, this is not comfort care. This is, no, we're going to help keep you alive, and you're going to beat this.
That's what I thought, and the reason I asked, for the casual viewer, listener, I just think they might not know that and that's
a great
important.
question.
It's morbid, but yes. Great.
Do they get down into real specific niches? We just talking about cancers in general. Obviously, there's so many different types.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that they really focus on, or they are to address
Just
all these different
anything
things?
that's hard to beat.
I see.
A lot of times, for instance, like leukemia, they don't need to go to St. Jude anymore for that.
Sure.
They already pretty much perfected how to handle that. So
That's amazing.
It's the ones that, wow, we don't know what this is. We don't know how to treat it.
Yeah.
And those are the people who go to St. Jude, and they learn. And what's great about St. Jude as well is we've probably all been in the hospital before. We can't wait to get the heck out of the hospital.
Sure.
Most of the children who go through St. Jude, they end up staying there.
Really?
Like, when you go, they get jobs there.
Wow.
Like they're so much indebted in the St. Jude, and they have so much respect and love for it that they don't ever leave. And a lot of the people were doing tours around camp, and they're telling their story. Oh yeah, I was diagnosed with cancer when I was 9 years old, and I wasn't expected to live, and here I am 30 years old, and I'm the head of research now over it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's
You know,
incredible.
to have a hospital that is meant for something like this, as someone who experienced it firsthand, is so special, because we know you get diagnosed with cancer, they say go right to Sloan Kettering. It's like the best in the world. And what's the benefit of going to St. Jude's over some of the best cancer hospitals? It's because of the care you're going to get, the way they treat you, the way, because the worst thing you could ever hear is that your child is sick, especially with something like cancer. Mm-hmm. To give them the absolute best environment and experience that you possibly could while you're going through something like that is so detrimental. Even in the way that the doctors and nurses, their positive attitudes, just to get your mind off things on a daily basis. So it's absolutely incredible what you do, man.
And if you think about what they're doing from a research standpoint, it's super important, right? That if they can find cures, because we all know somebody that has had cancer or has passed away from cancer.
Of course.
And usually it's when they're old or really young, right? But my brother-in-law's brother passed away like a year ago, 31 years old.
Wow.
And they were going through a bunch of different treatments. They went down to New York City, and they said, it's grown. It's gotten too big. We're going to set you up with care at home. And I couldn't imagine that 4 or 5 hours drive,
No.
3 hours if I'm driving, ride back home knowing that you're going to die. And what do you do? Do you shut down? Do you call everybody? Do you go? What do you do? I'm so overwhelmed at the thought of that. I couldn't imagine what they had to go through. And thankfully, my brother-in-law and his family doing well. They're actually huge Eagles fans. They went to the Super Bowl this year to really honor Mike, because Mike had gone to the Super Bowl a few years back. So they went to honor him. But yeah, what they're doing at a young age really can impact cancer in general.
Sure.
Like we all hear the hashtags F-cancer, all this, but it's so true. So like St. Jude's and the research and everything that they're doing is helping all aspects of it from there.
That's incredible. Rick, what's your day job when you're not supporting this incredible organization?
A little bit of backstory. I've been in the radio and TV world for over 20 years. I started my career at News Channel 9. doing advertising and marketing from there. Switched over to radio for a couple years. Then after 17 years, I said, no, I want to do this by myself. One of the good things that came out of COVID, and I'm sure you heard good stories of things that happened from COVID, was I decided to start my own business. So
awesome.
Good for you.
I had great client relationships. So I just said, hey, I'm going to start my own marketing agency. If you want me to handle all your advertising? And I kept getting yes. And I'm in my third year of doing it and haven't looked back, and things are going great.
That's incredible, man.
And you have a killer OnlyFans if you guys want to check that out. No, but you hear about all the horrible things about the pandemic, clearly. And you're one of the ones that are on the other side of it. There were a lot of positive things that came out of COVID.
100%.
And those are the kinds of
businesses.
things. Just gave you a chance to reset and go, wow, now I have time to actually formulate and come up with an idea for something that I really love. So you're doing amazing things, man.
But
it's really hard to open up a business too.
Shoot.
Right?
You're,
You know, you have
not
to
kidding.
worry about the overhead. How's the business going to come in? Am I going to survive? And then what if it doesn't? Now I have to go eat salt and go from there. So I'm proud of Rick where he's gone for
it should be. Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man.
dude.
I was going to commend your employer for letting you have so much time for this charitable work.
Here I am. Commend yourself.
Good job, man. You looking for a plug for those things? Website, anything like that?
Pretty much,
If folks want any of that sort of business?
New business, businessmarketing.com. All my info's on there. Contact me if you need help with any kind of advertising and marketing. Radio and TV is my specialty.
Okay.
That's my bread and butter, but I can do everything from build websites to buy billboards.
And that's any sector of business, right?
Any sector
all types of
business.
businesses.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be local. I deal with a couple. There's a sit mean sit in Syracuse. I have a couple sit mean sits. I have one in Montana that I handle
Nice.
marketing for. I have another one in New Hampshire that I do his marketing for. So
He doesn't work with any other DWI firms though.
that's it. I am no
There's only one,
category
really.
exclusive.
There really is only one, my friend.
Hey, that's all right. You don't want to spread your talents to others.
If I may, let's plug Sean's podcast right here at the Growth Mode Content, Phoenix Rising podcast, which you can catch right here. We go to Good News York for all the links to all our things and stuff, but also the podcasts that we do produce here at Growth Mode Content. Fantastic podcast. I think we got it out there now. Are we getting close?
Getting close.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Going to be fire.
it is.
Literally
It is.
the intro.
It's super
Fantastic.
cool. We're making so many cool things and learning about so many different things. And that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
And it's
cool.
It's a blast. I'm really glad, Sean, that you were able to bring Rick today. And
Absolutely. It was great to meet you. And I
Nice to meet you guys.
really appreciate what you're doing, man. It's really special.
For the record, Rick is standing up right now.
So am I. I'm actually on my tippy toes.
we designed this so that
Yeah.
level.
That's why this chair goes up and down.
right.
Feet are dangling.
Oh man. Sean, before we go, anything else that we should mention? And then where can folks learn more about what you do?
Yeah, you can learn what I do is you can go to Nave Cares, all of the non-for-profits that we're on there. Take a look. If you don't see a non-for-profit that's on there, reach out. My email's on there. Reach out. I'll be more than happy to get your non-for-profit involved. There's usually a waiting list, but I'll be more than happy to get on there, promote it, and make that work.
You really, this isn't one of those gimmicks where your company throws something at a couple of these charities to get your name on the banner. You're going really, you got a website, you've got a whole program, I think.
Yeah.
And that's really impressive, man, honestly.
It's intentional. Our core values and our vision and mission is all based around prioritizing our people, our community, and our clients in that order. And it's super important because if you take care of your people, they'll take care of the community, and then if you take care of your clients. Right?
Sure.
And I think that like I said earlier, that it's a business's responsibility to give back to the community, right? It's not fair for us to not give back to the community, yet have the community want to support us.
Sure.
It has to be a two-way street. And secondary, working in a law firm can be stressful. It can be stressful. It can be overwhelming, all of those things. And if we can take those moments to really do not-for-profit work this Christmas, and rather than getting our employees Christmas gifts, we built beds for Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And the employees came back and said, this was the best Christmas gift. And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
But when you hear about things like young adults not being able to sleep because they don't have a bed,
Right.
that's insane. Like, how are they going to learn in school? How are they going to have those opportunities that we've all had when they don't have a bed to sleep in, to get a good night's sleep? It's crazy. And the fact that Syracuse is one of the largest areas for bed builds is very concerning.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when we did it, I don't know the number, I'm going to make it up, but I think we would did that millions of bed for Central New York. But I mean, it's not uncommon to hear that Syracuse's poverty rate is extremely low.
Yeah.
One of the lowest or one of the highest in the United States.
Wow. There's some good
Here
news.
in Central New York. And we forget that, right?
Yeah.
Because we get to go home and we get to have a nice meal. We get to go to our beds.
Yeah.
We get to have our blankets on us. So I think it's really important to do those things because it humbles your employees.
Yeah.
When I talk to people when they're wanting to become employees, I have the conversation because obviously you get to the point where you have the conversation about money, right?
Sure.
And for me, it's more than just money. Somebody's coming to work for us because they're a good human. They want to give back to the community and all the other benefits that we have that go along with that.
Sure.
So usually that's what creates our competitive advantage. But yeah, I think that everybody wants to give back. They just don't know where. And help them find that place and to win.
And there's no greater fulfillment, and you know this too, you do a lot of charitable things, than giving something to somebody. I don't mean like the fart machine megaphone, if you want to, right? I can give that to Sean, and he'll be here all day playing with it. Please do. But when you truly give something to somebody who needs it, like a bed, something to live, there's no greater fulfillment. There's no better feeling.
I believe that you can achieve whatever you want in life, but you have to first be willing to give with receiving nothing.
That's exactly it.
You know, that good feeling, that speaks to what Sean said, is on top of everything that it does for the community, it's a positive for the organization as well and for your team.
For sure.
And that's, at our company, we started a little over a year ago offering what we call charity days, which is basically one day a quarter where folks can go and just give their time to an organization that they're passionate about.
Cool.
And we as a company, we've got a lot of nonprofit clients and we got a lot of organizations that we support, and we do that sort of as part of our workday. But the idea here is if someone is just really passionate about a particular thing, they can go and jump in and basically give a few days of their time to folks. And it's that sort of interaction that keeps people connected. And I love to see other folks do that.
Connected in a genuine, loving, approachable way.
Yeah.
Not loving in a, you're giving me a paycheck.
Sure. Right. Doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yep. That's the way to do it.
Now, Rick and I have to go to a chocolate factory that we have to run. Oompa Loompas over here, so if we could wrap this up.
We got our buddy Sean from Nave Law Firm and DWI team. You'll catch him, like Mike said, ridiculous amounts of wisdom.
Growthmodecontent.com for
coming out of this guy.
Podcast Rising.
And
Phoenix Rising.
Our man Rick, St. Jude's.
Thank you guys very much.
Come to the event this weekend. And even if you can't, you can support, I'm sure, any day of the week. We got, I'm sure, options for folks to help out this great cause, right?
It was a pleasure having you both on here, seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, fellas. Damn, dude. What an incredible Monday, huh?
Yeah. I wasn't expecting to go through all those emotions.
Listen, when Sean Kelsey shows up, you never know what to expect.
You can expect this. Which, by the way, Matt hates it, but I brought this when I don't like something. My daughter bought that.
Oh, when you don't like something? I thought that's how we were applauding things.
Oh, we could do that too. I love that.
We promise you, folks, this won't be just fart jokes.
No. We got fart
all right,
megaphones.
maybe it will.
Come on, we're well versed. We don't just do fart jokes. We have fart megaphones. All right, we're professional.
We should probably go home before we quit while we're ahead.
Sounds like we need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for joining us for Good News York, and you'll see us again tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Peace out.
Peace.